everybody. Welcome to GT Girls Garage. Sorry, I almost said Z-Con. I'm ready for the new year, guys. My name is Madison, or Musiq or Maddie. You can call me whatever you want. I don't really care. And we have our special guest here as part of the good team, Triss.
Hey guys. Hi, I'm Trissa from Minnesota. Here to talk about cars. Let's do it.
I did just want to give it a special shout out over to our sponsors. We got Donuts and Wheels, we got Society, we got Grip Rad, and then we got I'm terrible. I should know this off the top of my head. 1 second. I know we got one more in here. Triss, do you remember off the top of your head who that fourth awesome person? Syntech Motorsports. I don't know how I forgot that because I've actually bought stuff there.
It's fine.
Okay, but they're all really awesome sponsors. They're great. Triss is a really wonderful car builder, Z enthusiast. You guys are stuck with two Datsun people, so.
Yep, chaos. We're gonna bring chaos.
Absolute chaos.
Alrighty. We're supposed to be having a special guest as well. Mike's supposed to join us, but that'll be later on. What do you want to talk about?
I kind of want to know a little bit more about you. You know, you're an active person in the Datsun community, as an active, fellow female enthusiast, especially when it comes to cars and, a little bit of the JPAN side of things. Would like to know more about you and like some of your builds. I know you got a naked car in your shop right now. Kind of want to know what you're doing with that.
Oh boy. All right. Well, I've been in the Z game for 8 years now. Picked up my first car and I actually totaled it. I hit a deer. So
no.
Brought it into full restoration mode. Redid the floors on it. Frame rails are extended all the way to the back, putting a fuel cell in it. Sandblasted it all the way down. So there's about 95% rust on it, or 95% clean right now. Sorry. 5% rust. Actually, I'll show you a little bit. So this is it. It's become a shelf, unfortunately. I need a little bit more money to put into it, but yeah, I need dogleg panels on it and stuff, but it's also getting a K-swap. So that'll be fun, but that's a little further down the road after we get it painted and everything. So I also am in the drift scene. So we have two 240 SXs that we drift. They're not pretty by any means, but they're really fun. So they're both V8 cars. Yeah, that's a little bit about me, I guess.
Yeah, what kind of got you into drifting? I drift as well, but I am nowhere near to the level as you or some of the other girls who are in our group. Like, it is insane.
It's expensive too.
Very.
Man, 2014. I actually met a guy, my first car guy that wasn't into German and that kind of stuff. Totally different.
Didn't want a BMW.
Yeah, finally met a Japanese car guy, which was really cool. And he kind of introduced me, and we went to a track for the weekend, and I fell in love. It's just amazing being thrashed in a car. I don't know what it is, and it's crazy that people know their limits with their cars too. There's so many people that actually know the depth of the wall, how close they're getting, and it's just crazy. I don't know. It's a really fun activity, but it's also expensive. So, it's a give and take, but that's anything in the car scene. So
yeah, honestly, it's probably one of the most expensive hobbies we could have, just because of the maintenance behind it. Just because we end up getting into it and we're just fall in love with it, and we learn so much about oh, you know what, I want to do this build to it. I want to do this, and then we get so lost in what we want to do that we don't do anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then you add on, tires every other weekend, and plus you got to pay for the event fees and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of traveling involved usually, but hey, we still show up and it's still a lot of fun. So some of the best people I've ever met are in the drift or, Datsun community even. It's crazy how supportive everyone is. So that's another thing that's kind of pushed me that way, if that makes sense. Everyone's so supportive and I just love it.
Well, it's definitely, we kind of talked about it on the first episode where we were talking about being women in the car community and how much things have changed over time. I don't necessarily know how old you are, but I'm sure you know, like, back you look so young. You could
Old
you could be
enough.
like 18. That's all I need to know.
Oh, no. Pushing 27 here, but that's fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
you know what? That's fine. We're the same age. That's all I need.
Yes, love it. Love it.
Like, like being when I was into cars, I got into cars really young and going to shows and stuff. And of course, demographic makes a difference too. Some areas are way more accepting of it. When you tend to go in like, certain states and areas, you tend to be a little, find a little bit more sexism in the mix of it. But I know like a lot has really progressed, and I know the drift world and it's been very accepting of me in it. It's been accepting of most, well, actually everyone who I know who's been in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think honestly, females are accepted in it, and I think it's because a lot of the drift people understand. We all started somewhere, and we're all trying to go to the same place. We're just trying to have fun. That's all we want to do. So it's actually kind of cool because there's quite a few people. Like you go up for a weekend or whatever, and your car breaks down. There's a lot of people that are more than willing to help out, and I don't know. I've never had a problem being a female in the drift scene. I guess. It's kind of crazy to think about now.
Yeah, and ever since I've been into it, which hasn't been long, it's been about 2 or 3 years that I kind of got into that side of things. It was far more accepting because I came from more of like the car show community, with like cars and coffee and stuff like that. I'm still really good friends, and I still will show up to those kind of events as well. But it was very change of pace being getting into the racing, especially because I came from motocross and sport bike racing, so it's very different. Very
Sure.
different to be like, oh, I'm a girl and I'm accepted. Sick.
That's crazy. I never really grew up around cars, so it's cool to see like the diverse backgrounds with people, because some people have I was in the garage every weekend with my dad, and then some people just, I don't know, out of the blue they went to a car show and that was it, game over. You know what I mean? I don't know, it's quite the diverse community, but I'm happy to be here. And I'm sure you are too, so.
Yeah. No, I definitely am. I'm very happy to where I'm at. I feel very fortunate. I fell in love with cars at a very young age and just really wanted to be involved in it because I was just like, there's so much cool uniqueness to it. But yeah, no one in my family can turn a wrench.
I feel
Terrible
that.
as that is to say. I went to school for it, and all of that, but it's weird. It's weird not coming from that.
It is really weird, but I mean, you learn as you go. That's bottom line. It's not about really your knowledge level. It's how much you're willing to learn. That's my perspective on it. Because everyone's got to learn, and if you think that you don't have anything to learn, well, you're quite wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to start from square one. You got to go back. Like, I don't know how else to tell you this, but this may not be the scene for you. It's people who need teachable moments, and I think that's where a lot needs to be updated a little bit in the car community. That's still kind of evolving to this day. Is people trying to find that like good median, like able to listen and learn and willing to kind of step down the ego. I think men, you deal with ego a little bit more, and women, you deal with emotion a little bit more. I've cried because of something someone said to me, or like because I wasn't figuring something out. I've cried working on cars for sure. But at the same time, like I'll sit there and I'll listen, but I feel like there's a lot of people who get closed off from trying to learn more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I like, don't get me wrong, there definitely is female targeted stuff, and it's kind of tough being in any industry that's male dominated, I won't lie about it, but it's coming to a point where I feel like it's more accepted because we're all trying to make a buck, we're all trying to make a living, we're all trying to have fun. It is what it is, and if no one's accepting of it, I don't get it. But oh well. Also, looks like we have our special guests ready. If you're ready, Maddie.
I am ready. Let's go ahead and send Mike in.
All right. Oh, hey, Brownie. My hubby's on.
Oh, that's so cute.
Hi.
Ladies.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm having a hard time hearing you guys. I don't have my earphones on, so apologize for that.
That's
so
all
if I
right.
do
We're
one of
just
these, it's because I'm old and I'm trying to listen.
we're interested to hear you talk anyways, so
Yeah, we don't need to talk.
we hear that you have some interesting stories that you wanted to share.
Me?
Oh, did
Yes,
he
sir.
freeze?
Um,
Oh no, he
well, what do you want
froze.
to know?
Well,
Want to know how
kind
it
of,
all started?
yeah, kind of tell us how you got into the scene and a little bit about your background.
So my first car, back in 1988, I'm dating myself, when I got my license and I was going to first start driving, should have been an orange 240Z.
Oh,
I work in the grocery industry, but back then I was getting, there was a guy in the night crew that stocked shelves and stuff, and he had an orange one. And the only reason why I didn't buy it was I was 17 years old at the time. A, it was a stick, and B, it needed some struts. And back then I was a stupid 17-year-old kid and ended up buying a 69 Camaro with a straight six motor in it. And I was like, well, that was the car I wanted. But it had a 6-cylinder. If I could go back and slap my 17-year-old self, I would have bought that Z.
Yeah.
He sold it for like $900 to somebody.
oh my gosh.
He was gonna sell it for $900 to me back then. It was a nice car. But when you're a kid, you
don't know.
learn. So fast forward probably about 10 years later, I'm married. My wife and I didn't start having kids. My son was born in 2000, so I wanted to get a second car to drive to work, and I've always loved the Z car, the S30 body.
Yes.
So I found one cheap, basket case, 1978 280Z was my first Z.
Oh.
And that car, oh man, driver's side quarter panel smashed all in. Looked like it looked like it'd been in a high-speed chase.
Oh.
But I got it for $600 and put a lot of money into it, and that's when I got bit by the bug. Plus, as a kid growing up, my grandfather loved Datsun pickups, so he always had a Datsun pickup back in the day.
Yes.
And so that kind of started the fever, And once you buy your first one, you all know as well as I do that it doesn't end.
It's game over.
It's
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
So game over.
Yeah, my wife's just like, well, how much you gonna put into this thing? I don't know. Let's see where it goes. But luckily she's been an understanding wife for many, many, many years. And you can see.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I love that car.
She's down for the count right now.
Yeah, what happened?
So the MSD box took a crap.
Oh no.
And I think what it was I had it in the engine bay and it probably got too hot.
Oh,
I
sure.
had it there for years. I'm going to go back to the Old Faithful Petronics igniters. It's got the Petronics in the distributor, but we're waiting on the coil.
Oh,
so
sure.
We get the coil, we set it back to the way it was before, a 3M coil, no ballast resistor, and should be back on the road shortly. It was supposed to come today, so I'm at my buddy's house over here in Ramona, California. I live in Poway, so we're like real close to each other. It's part of San Diego,
Sure.
North County, San Diego area. So yeah, I've had 15 Z cars in my life.
Wow.
Can I be you?
Yeah, no kidding.
No, you don't want to be me. You want to be way better than me. Okay.
Oh my God.
Bought my first 240. I actually had my 78 280 when I got my first 240Z. It was in 1970.
Oh.
And that was the holy grail.
Yes.
That car was number 2700, I think, 2700 back in the day.
Oh.
And, that's one of the cars I should have kept, but luckily I have two cars now that I should have. And I say that because my other one, Trissa, I think you've seen it, the gray Ghost, the gray one.
Yep. Beautiful.
I posted pictures of that one before.
Yes.
Now that one's going to go to my son when he graduates. And I bought that one from the original owner back in 2006.
I want to be your son.
Yeah.
I want to be your son. Are you adopting?
Well, you're both young enough to be my daughters, so that being said, let's not poke fun at the old guy, okay?
Oh my.
But it's all good because see, Trissa and I met one time face to face at what was it? It was
JCCS. Yep.
Was it JCCS?
Nice.
Yeah.
Or was it?
I think
was it
Blanco was
the
there, I
show?
believe. It was JCCS Long Beach.
Yeah.
It was,
Right.
I don't remember, years ago now.
Yeah. That was cool. That was so much fun. So fast forward to now, I've had so many different cars, and it's one of those things where you get bit by the bug and you buy them, you enjoy them, you sell them, you move on to the next one until you find the right fit. For some people, that's relationships.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I mean?
It's a whole new
but
divorce,
for me,
marriage.
yeah.
Nimit.
For me, it was Z cars. So I have the two right now. I have Blanca, and then I have the Gray Ghost. And the Ghost, what happened with that one was I sold that in 2007, about a year later after I bought it from the original owner. And 11 years later, the guy calls me up and says, because he took it to Arizona from San Diego.
Oh.
And 11 years later, he calls me up and says, hey, you always said that if I was going to sell the car, to give you a call. And he goes, do you want to buy it back? I was like, hell yeah. So the only way my wife was going to let me buy that car back was if I was going to gift it to my son. That was the plan. And so she was on board with it once I said I was going to gift it to my son. And so I had it delivered out from Arizona to San Diego. And I'm glad I did, because I thought about maybe flying out and driving it home, because Phoenix to where I live is probably about 5 to 6 hours. It's a good thing I didn't drive that thing home, because that car needed a lot of work when I got it.
Sure.
He was the older gentleman that bought it. I love this guy. He's great. He's on the S30 Life page. His name is Tom. He's a sweetheart of a man. When I sold it to him back in 2007, talk about seeing a guy who's 20 years older than I am, and I'm 50. So, talk about seeing a grown man nearly come to tears when he looked at this car when he first bought it. It was really, really cool, because it was a car that he wanted back in high school.
Yeah.
And I was born in 71. I got two 71s, So it's kind of cool when you hear the older guys, older than I am, talk about their love and passion for the car.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and it's kind of funny. Sorry to butt in, but it's funny
go
because
ahead.
I've been hearing more and more about it. Anytime I've gone to a car show with my car before I totaled it or anything, it was like, hey, man, like I used to have one of these and it was the coolest car and I wish I never would have sold it. I've heard that so many times. It's kind of crazy. Z cars are really loved. Or not even just Z cars, Datsuns in general, 510s, all that kind of diverse. Like everyone loves them. And it's crazy the sentimental value that goes with them, because I feel like there's a lot of stories.
I get goosebumps just talking about it, because it's funny that my first car was a Camaro, and I've had two Camaros, and I've always had trucks. I got a big stable at home, and I drive multiple different cars. But it was funny that I just kind of fell into the S30s, the Z cars, and people are like, well, why did you fall into muscle cars? There's a lot of muscle cars in California, in Southern California especially. I'm like, I did. I had a couple, and I had another Camaro that had a V8 in it. Big deal, it was okay. It had a lot of issues, and it was like, this car just, when you look in the garage, even your car is still stripped down, right? Your Z.
Still naked.
There she is. She became a shelf. Yes.
So let me ask you, when you walk into the garage, and you just stand there and you look at the side view, just the side profile of that car.
It's so sexy.
How sexy is that? Is that car?
Oh my God.
It could be a damn basket case, right?
Yep.
Stripped down, mixed match panels, Bondo everywhere. But the car is just it's just sexy. It's just a beautiful.
The body lines are like they're unmatched from anything.
No, yeah, I can totally agree. There's nothing that competes with the S30s. And I'm a big car lover, but those S30 Datsuns, I'm so happy I have them. But my
So
They're
God.
good.
what year do you have?
So I have a 77 280Z.
Okay. All right. And Trissa, yours is a 73, right?
Yeah, I have a 73 and I just sold the 71 there. Or no, original. It was a Series 1 car, actually. It was a 70 that I just
Yeah, I
had.
think I remember you
That
picked
actually
that
went
up.
to California.
Oh, it did?
Yep.
Why
It was
did it
just
go
too
to-
much for me. Well, it's one of those things where it was pretty low numbered. I think it was 5124,
Wow.
which sounds weird, but I cross-referenced and did everything, and a lot of people said that it was an original Series 1 or like within that realm, And yeah, I looked at it and I actually bought it as a parts car for $2,000.
Wow. Yeah, I think I
Um,
remember you posting pictures of that car when you got it.
Yes, it looked way better in pictures. It definitely needed a lot of work, and I couldn't chop it apart because Series 1, I mean, man, they're gold. It's hard to find. So,
I've had a couple of them.
in a reasonable price, I should say.
Well, there's nothing reasonable about these cars anymore. I mean, if you can get them for a couple grand, you struck gold. I mean, they're still out there. People are still finding them. And I mean, there's people out there right now that are stealing these cars from people, and it's just like, oh wow, man, you like they did not know what they had kind of deal. But it's kind
Totally
of cool
been
because
there.
for guys like me who still got time left to really enjoy it. I mean, I'm looking forward to retirement and at some point in the next several 5 to 10 years and just tinkering on my car and keeping it going until it's my time to go, and my son and can enjoy. And my daughter, I have two kids. My son's 21, my daughter's 18. They're both in college. So when he graduates, he's gonna get the Ghost. And I think when my daughter graduates, I mean when it's my time to go, the kids will get both cars and they'll figure out what they're gonna do with them. But for now, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my car and tearing it apart again at some point and restoring it. That's something I've been wanting to do with this one for years, but now it's got everything I pretty much want on it. Triple Kunis. It's got this Techno Toy suspension. It's got Panasport wheels. Like, you still got your Panasports, right?
Yes, I do.
Hold on to those. They're still available, but I don't think there's not too many wheels that look as good as those on the car, other than maybe Watanabes, but.
They're so overplayed now,
Oh
and
yeah,
they
everyone and their mom says the Watanabes.
They are. I mean, look, I can go either way with those. So I think one of my biggest, if I can tell another little quick story, one of my biggest, I guess, memories from being a San Diego Z Car member is meeting Mr. K.
Yes.
Gosh, that's so cool.
So,
all right, let's hear it.
Yeah,
So-
I need all of it.
It was probably right after I got the 70. It was probably 99-ish. I think it was before my son was born. He was born in 2000. So John Parker, who worked with Mr. K back in the day, I think they were partners somehow. I forget what their roles were. And I don't have all the history in my head like I used to, but I know Mr. K was a big influence here in the States to push the Datsun name. But John Parker was like his partner or something, and he was on the American side. So down in Coronado, California, down south here, down in San Diego, all the way down by the water, he had this beautiful home. The San Diego Z Club were hosting Mr. K, and he flew out from Japan to come to this get together. And him and John Parker were really good friends. And by that time, so Mr. K died. I think he was 105.
Oh my God.
104, 105 when he passed.
Oh my gosh.
And so at that time, he was the youthful age of probably 91, 92-ish. So
Oh
maybe
my
90.
gosh, that
No,
poor
actually,
old
that
man.
was,
He's
yeah, about
so
90.
wonderful.
About 90 when he came down. And so I got a chance to have him sign a bunch of stuff. And my wife actually sat next to him and surprised me with a bunch of stuff that she had signed off. You ever see that old black and white 240Z with the woman sitting on one side, the guy sitting on the other side?
Yeah.
It actually came out of a Playboy magazine. So
What?
I'm just throwing that out there. Just I didn't have the magazine. I had just had the picture. Okay?
Yeah,
So-
okay.
I was gonna say, you know what? I may actually start Googling and being like, all right, where can I find this Playboy magazine? Because I think I need it.
No judgments. So she sat down with Mr. K, which was really cool. I was wondering, what's she doing over there? You know, I was just wondering what she was doing, but she had all these gifts he signed off for me. He autographed all these really cool stuff, all this really cool stuff. I still have an old blue visor from my 70 because my 70 used to be original blue color in the interior. It's
Beautiful
packed
color.
away in the garage somewhere. And so that for me was the absolute pinnacle of Z ownership, was actually sitting with the father of the Z and talking to him. And he looked over at me and he said, he goes, what year Z do you have? And I said, a 70. And his eyes, he went,
Huge.
oh. He's like, oh, 70. And I go, yes, sir. And so he was like the sweetest guy. And one of his favorite foods was fried onion rings. You know, I mean, well, onions are fried anyways, but onion rings. So they fried up in a deep fryer some onion rings. And my buddy, I'm at his house right now. He fried deep fried a turkey. And, you know, it was a great special moment. Do you remember when, I don't know, were you involved in the Z community back in 2014, Trissa?
I don't think so. No, it was 2015 or 2016 when I got involved.
So 2014, we had ZCon down here in San Diego.
Okay.
Talk about bitching. You know, I mean, it was just because you've been to Southern California, you've seen their sunshine, you've seen our beaches and the oceans. Imagine having a Z car event when you're in Southern California and it being sunny and just beautiful down by the water. It was really cool. We had a really, really good time. I met, I'm drawing a blank on his name, BRE.
Oh my gosh.
John Morton. I met John Morton.
Yes.
And he drove the BREZ. And then, oh my goodness. The owner of the BRE company.
Sure.
Oh God, how can I be? Yeah, I'm on. You know, it is. I'm on stage right now.
John something. I couldn't.
What was it?
Isn't it John something?
Well, John Morton was the driver.
John Morton
but
was the driver,
Brock,
right?
Pete Brock
Mark?
from BRE.
No,
So we got to meet both those guys at a mixer downtown San Diego.
Sure.
So it was a big event that lasted a week. Even though I'm from and I live in San Diego, I stayed down at the hotel that they were hosting at just because Mr. Matsuo was there also. You know, Mr. Matsuo passed away, 2 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my son chased him all over the place getting stuff signed for him. Like at the time, my son was 14 or something, 13 or 14. It was the coolest thing. It was so much fun. That's why when you came out to Long Beach, and I was asking you if you brought your daughter because I was hoping to see her, you know, and which because you know we watched her grow from a baby to where she is now. You know,
it's crazy. It's
that's
crazy.
the thing about this community. You know, it's what people need to really understand is when we're posting pictures of our cars and our families, you know, we're becoming that part of that community.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's kind of a shame that there's a lot of people out there that will bag on certain things that are related to what we do. Yeah. And it's just not cool because this is a really tight community and we all kind of look out for each other. I mean, I think this is why I stayed in the game for so long. I mean, I've been a Z Club member since '98. So I've got 20, almost 22 years or 24 years. In March will be 24 years with the San Diego Z Club. So
it's an inspiration.
But guys stay in it, you know, and even though I'm not as active as I'd like to be, and COVID played a big part in that. You know, there's a lot of guys who are even older than I am, way older than I am, that have been in the club since '91, since it started. Yeah. So, you know, it's one of those things where this car right here has, you know, developed so many amazing relationships, most of them online from the communities that are friendships that I hope to have until, you know, I'm done. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's been amazing. I've met some really cool people over the years. You just can't, I mean, you can see the passion, you can feel the passion. And this is what I try to, pass on to the younger generation is, hey, look, don't let anybody clown on you asking a question that maybe has been answered, because it's important that people reach out and instead of, go research, go do the research, do Google, whatever. Well, we're here to communicate with one another and build relationships. And that's one way of doing it, is actually talking about it and figuring it out. Anybody can go Google something. It's nice when a community rallies and says, hey, I did it this way, or hey, I did it that way. Yep. Because Google's only going to tell you so much. It'll give you information, but it's nice to hear verbally what people are doing with these cars to keep them going.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people have tips and tricks, there's a ton of different ways to do things. There isn't usually one way or the highway. That's not how that goes. There's just a wealth of knowledge online. It's coming to a day and age where people are feeling way too comfortable being keyboard warriors, I feel like, and
exactly.
It's a shame, but I know you're actually a founder of a group, the S30 Life. I do like that group a lot. It's pretty clean cut, and there's a lot of information on there. That's amazing. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I think inspired me to start that group was because because I've been in it so long, I wanted to gather some of the best minds in the group. I mean, in the not industry, but in the community.
Yep.
And a friend of mine and he helped me get the site up. Well, I built the page, he built the page at the same time, and his was better, so we went with his. And it was my idea, and it was my passion. And he was like, let me get you going. And he was the inspiration for the stripes that I have on the side of the car.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy, Mike? I don't know if you knew this or not, but my car was originally painted white with red stripes as well. But they ran down the center line of the car. Yeah.
Well, I remember you stripped it down. I thought we saw white underneath or somewhere, or inside the interior.
Yeah.
Was the shell white inside?
I believe the original color of the car was white, and then someone else painted it red or a different color. I don't know. It had that nice ring of paint
of the layer.
But I ended up with a folder full of stuff when I bought the car, actually, which was really cool. I love having that. And it had all the eBay listings and everything, and all the old pictures of the car and everything that's been done to it. So it's kind of cool seeing all that.
Yeah, every car I've ever bought and had something that came with it that was kind of cool, Yeah. And like I said, I've had 15 of them, but I think I've had 10 or 11 240s. I've had a 350Z, a 280, a 260. A couple of the Z's I bought back twice. Yep. My 70, matter of fact, I bought that one back and I sold it. We put a turbo motor in that thing a long time ago, and that was a lot of fun. Well, the car wasn't a matching numbers car to begin with.
Sure.
And it had a salvage title. So even if I kept that car long term, it would have never would have had the value. I mean, it does because it's a 70, but it never probably would have had the value as one that was completely matching numbers and clean.
Right.
But today's standards, who knows?
Right. Right.
So again, if I can just reiterate on the page, I made that page because I wanted people to come to a page where they can feel welcome and be able to ask the questions without being completely chastised and made fun of. We have very few girls in the group, women in the group, and I'm glad that you're part of that team. And I don't let that stuff, I don't take that stuff lightly. So when I see things that I don't approve of, you don't last too long in the group.
I've noticed that.
You know what I'm saying? I don't mess around, and I'm not a small man, so you can't push me. So I'm not gonna, I won't allow anybody to kind of, try to berate me or try to intimidate me with anything, because it's just not gonna work with me. I don't take it. So these guys know that, and that's a lot of reason why these guys reach out to me personally to say, hey man, we really appreciate what you're doing, because every time we go to any other groups, we get beat up on, depending on the group and depending on the situation. I'm sure the moderators have their hands full, but for about 4.5 years, I was the single only moderator of the group.
Wow.
I just brought in 2 of my closest friends who are our Z guys.
Sure.
One's with the San Diego Z group too. He's a Z31 guy, but he's like a brother to me. I trust him. He's been helping me with my car. My other buddies, another guy that's been helping me with my car. He's He's an S30 guy. Was his first car. Be a great guy to interview. You'd love him. He's kind of he's a mechanic. He builds his own stuff. He fabricates. He tears it down. I'll shoot you his info if you guys would like to interview him sometime and talk to him. He's really lovely. There's only 3 admins of the group. It's me as the main moderator and my 2 buddies, and that's it. And we try to keep things on lock because we just don't want these to get carried away. And believe me, you guys know as well as I do that these pages get carried away quick.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they do.
Very unfortunately. Well, I was a little upset with myself that I didn't get into like the Facebook pages of the Datsun side. I've owned a Datsun since I was 16, so in 2012 was my first Z, and I had to find out through JPAN and Triss. They were like, "Oh yeah, check out this S30," and I was like, "What? There's another Datsun group that I didn't know about?" And I was so pissed. I was like, but I was so happy at the same time because I found another group of community where I could definitely.
Are you on S30 Life now? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You are at S30. I brought you in.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome there. And if there's ever any issues, you guys can always reach out to me, and we can fix that.
You're always on there moderating anyways. It seems like I've noticed that you don't tolerate bullying at all. So I commend you.
No. Hey,
because it's good.
I have a daughter, and I got kids, and the thing about it is there are some very knowledgeable people on there, and I don't want to get carried away to where people want to leave the group because of the shenanigans that go on. And I've known people to leave other groups because of the berating they're getting from people that really don't know these cars like they think they do, but they offer their opinions, and that's fine. Hey, look, if you're trying, I'm cool with that. If you want to give an honest opinion, but to kind of downplay what somebody's learned over 30, 40 years of trial and error, you really can't substitute that for anything else. And when they leave, they take that information with them.
Yep.
I will invite you ladies to check out one page that's been around forever, zcar.com.
Yeah.
You know it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Zcar.com is one of the first ones where I met Tony D. You know Tony D, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Tony D, he's different, but I love him. He's a good guy. He's very intelligent. And it comes off as, a little bit abrasive at times, but he's very sharp. He's very, very sharp, but he's very, you got to take him in small doses sometimes. He's probably going to see this and give me shit later on. I'm sorry. I need to cuss. Probably going to give me a hard time about it later on.
Well, the cuss word is flapjacks. Is it flapjacks, right?
I think it's flapjacked.
Flapjacks.
Yeah. The word?
That's what we're using in the substitute.
Okay.
It was a whole backstage thing. But anyways, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I appreciate you allowing me the time to come on here. I mean, Isaiah reached out to me. I know Isaiah for a long time, and we talked on the phone for the first time, and it was awesome. This is what I love about the community is finally meeting people face to face and, getting a chance to speak to them. This right here, technology is really cool because, you guys are all split all over the place. So far away from each other, but yet we're close. You know what I mean? And that makes it really important and more intimate to be able to talk about these cars and our plans. We just did the whole suspension and brake system on the car, and it's other than it, taking a dump the other day, the car was great. I was having fun with it. So at least I was smiling before I wasn't,
Yeah, exactly.
But it was funny when I posted that. Did you see everybody else was posting? You can't own one of these cars without it being on a flatbed at some point,
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they're temperamental.
It kind of comes with the territory, You just gotta take care of them, You gotta. I walk out. I take my diaper out. I wipe her down with a diaper, and. Valentine's Day, you see the pictures of Valentine's Day, I'll throw a little rose on her and take a picture.
I haven't seen those, but I can't wait.
It's good.
Yeah, every Valentine's Day, I usually take a rose. Because she's white and little red stripes. I throw a little red rose up across the hood.
Beautiful.
Take a picture. My wife's just going.
She's like, "Did you buy me
Really?
flowers? Where's my flowers?"
Right.
I'm like, hey, I go, yeah. I really shouldn't say much more about it because it's a guy thing.
You're gonna get you in trouble.
But you know, with guys in their cars, it's like, well, I don't have to tell you because you have the same passion we have. It's different. It's just different. We're because we're wired differently. This is like the second wife. You know, it's always been that way. It's
I don't
second
know.
wife,
My
second
Datsun's
child,
been more
third
reliable
child.
than any man I've been with.
What's that?
Yeah.
My Datsun's been more reliable than any man I've been with. So I mean, I have that same vibe. Don't worry, I love my cars. I love my Datsuns.
The side
my
chicks.
God.
That's what we call them. The side chicks.
Yeah.
They're very nice.
Well, hey, thank you for letting me come on the show. I appreciate it. I would love to come back again if you guys want to talk about something
Yes.
related to. And so awesome that we're doing this, and appreciate you plugging the page. I've gotten so many new people, especially I've told Isaiah I've been getting a lot of people from Australia coming on.
Awesome.
You know, the Aussies are moving in. They're coming up, and they
Okay.
found the page, and you know, Australia's got a big following. I mean, we're worldwide. I mean, I don't have 40-something thousand members like DPAN or you know some of the other groups, but 8,200. That's pretty
a lot.
respectable.
That's still pretty good. Yes.
I mean, I told Isaiah I could have 30,000 people on here, you know, but they would have been from all over the place, and you know, I like to keep the group smaller so I know who I'm dealing with.
It's quality over quantity, if anything.
Oh, exactly. So
no, I think
thanks
the
again
page
for
that you
having
built
me.
is great.
What's that?
Sorry, I think the page that you built is very awesome. I hope you keep going with it because it's
awesome
gaining
as the
momentum.
people that I've allowed to come on, and you are all part of that, and I appreciate the information that you all bring because it keeps the juices flowing in my mind going, hey, you know, this is why it's worth it. This is why, you know, we spend the money we do, and we work so hard to have the money to put into these cars and the passion, the hard work it takes to get them running every day and get them out there. Because when you get behind the wheel of one of these, you know, these old cars and the smells and everything, and
Oh God,
you know, it's just and the
Datsun
sound.
smell.
I wish I could start it up for you.
yes, I know the
mean,
smell.
it's just that quick throttle sound, you know, because I've never had a car like this. This is why I've kept this one the longest. Never had one like this. And this is the dream. This is the one I'm keeping. So when you have one that you know you should keep, you just ride the wave all the way in, you know?
Yep.
So, but hey, I appreciate it again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Talk and speak my mind and have a little fun. And like I said, I hope you invite me again to do this, you know, do this again, you know?
You're welcome anytime. It's been a pleasure. I miss you. I should come visit.
Come visit. I have an extra room. I tell my wife, I say, we got family coming.
Yeah. It sounds convenient because you know what? -15 here is just not cutting it. So Cali sounds good.
I think it was sunny and about 70. But you know, it's San Diego. It's sunny about 345 days out of the year.
Right. It's a beautiful place.
I don't recommend moving here unless you're making a ton of money because houses have gone insane.
I think I've heard it's yeah. Well,
if I told you what a 3-bedroom, 2-bath standard home goes for, the median price here in San Diego.
Oh shit, we got cops.
Did I lose you?
No, we're good.
Oh, so a picture came up. A video.
Yeah, I see that too.
Maybe it was me. But anyways, you would never have a dime to put into your car.
No. No.
If you bought a house down here. I told my wife, I said, why don't we move it to a trailer park, take all our money, and I could buy a lot of nice cars.
Hey, there you go.
Well, that's the man in me thinking, you know, I don't need a big place to live in. I just need a small place and a bunch of cars. And she goes, well, good. You can live in your car.
You can do that.
Not with the you smell the fumes in these cars. I'll never make it a day.
Not even.
Yes.
All right, you guys, have a great night. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the page.
Sounds good. See you,
Good
Mike.
talking to
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Mike's
Ooh.
awesome. We did get a comment here that they've never owned a finicky S30 because they've rebuilt every one, and he finds them bulletproof. Like, honestly, no cap, my stock 280Z that I bought in 2012 was bulletproof. I mean, like,
Really?
I had to do like the starter and an alternator once. I was so stuck on like what I was gonna build it into. I ended up like keeping it stock, and then I sold it. Well, I traded it in for my Harley, like a very dumb human, because it was all matching numbers and everything, like stock, low miles. I think I only had 87K on the mile, like the odometer, like. But yeah,
Mm,
mistakes have been
live
made.
and learn.
Moved on from that. I still have my other Z, like it's good, but I can agree. Like once you kind of get them built right, like they can be really good. But it's definitely my stock one had never had any issues. But the one that I have, the LS, the 2.8 ET swap in it. Sorry, not an
Yeah.
LS. That one has more issues than my stock one ever did. And I was like, man, I did the wiring harness. I went through that car thoroughly, and I still get little finicky stuff here and there versus my stock one that never had any issues. Ever.
Amen to that. I've come to find that, keeping things pretty stock is probably your best option, but things do definitely get old. Like there's hoses that are on the original motor that just harden up over time, and then they end up breaking, or the fins on the radiator finally go bad, and just little nitpicky stuff. But that's maintenance too, so
yeah,
it goes hand in hand, I guess. But when I picked up my car, I want to say every bolt on the car was about hand tight. So, and I was missing a tranny bolt and all sorts of crazy. It was not a good car. It was probably a good thing I totaled it and tore it down, because it was a risk. It was really bad.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. Yeah, there's definitely some of those that I'm like, huh?
Basket case. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it was, by the way, that other Z was totally rust proof too.
You got the dime in the dozen. I don't know how you pulled that off.
I sold it for 4,500 too.
Oh, nice.
That was the trade-in value on it.
What year was that?
That was my 77 stock.
Oh, okay.
And so
that's cool. That's cool though.
Yeah, I mean, kinda. I don't like the Harley.
I'm sure.
It's okay.
I'm sure that Z car was a little more bulletproof than that.
Than the Harley. Oh, for sure. When people want to talk about finicky, I'm like, no, on a motorcycle. Like, these Datsuns, these old cars have nothing on it. At least it's not, like an Alfa Romeo or anything like that.
Right. Looks like we have a couple more comments here. S30 is a great hangout. It definitely is. Mike is a great guy. He really is, and I know he's on there quite a bit. And he doesn't let stuff fly. So there's literally a wealth of information there. There's people that have 20 to 30, even plus years of experience that are commenting and actively, trying to bring everyone together. It's a really good feel. So I love that group. I really do.
I do too. Let's see.
I'm modding a 240 and a 280, and they will be bulletproof too.
Are you gonna sell one? Just that's terrible of me to be like, let's get another Datsun. Let's get another project. Not that I don't have 5 right now, but let's do another one.
Right. Yeah. Where are you finding these? Come on.
Yeah. Share your secrets. Secrets don't make friends. Most people fix a part and don't rebuild it. So that's true. A lot of people, when it comes to like these Datsuns, will like tweak one little thing and not like pull through and look at everything. Like with the electrical system on my Z now, when I was doing the engine swap and everything, I was like thoroughly went through and rebuilt my entire harness. Like that was just what I did. So like I definitely get that. It is. Because then you don't have to be like, oh, I wonder if it's this. And then have to search through the whole thing again when you've already done it.
Well, and especially when you're dealing with, these are what, 40, 50-year-old cars. I mean, they're they're bound to have hidden treasures, we'll call them, you know, and you never know. Being that old and everything, there's definitely people that have ripped into them and, you know, put their little twists on them or deleted things off of harnesses. And it's definitely worth going through a car that you pick up that, you know, is aged and, you know, for a fact someone has touched. It's for safety. It's for performance of the car, everything. It's definitely worth going through the car completely. So
Yeah. I completely agree. And I mean, you're literally doing it from square one up. Bless your soul. I don't know how you don't murder people, because I straight up would. I would throw wrenches. I'm one of those people. Don't be in a garage with me. But you know,
there's lots of tears.
Yep.
But you know what? You spread it over a couple years. Well, now I'm pushing, like I said, 6-7 years on this restoration, but it's worth it. You know, you don't rush things, I feel like. So when the time's right, it seems like once a year I do something monumental and we take a big step forward. But that's it. I don't know.
This Mind Design guy,
I love it. I'm selling one. Ooh.
I know. I'm like, oh, wait a second. I have a heart for the 280Zs just because that was my first Datsun, was a 280. And if you're selling the 280, please holler.
Yes. I'll take the 240.
Yeah, you can take the 240. I'll take the 280. We'll be set. And you know, puts a new slave cylinder out with a master and a hose. Yeah, you have to. You have to, because like you know, like Triss, like you said, like those hoses.
Oh my God, they get crusty, man. They really do.
Really crusty. People don't understand that. When you're like, "What's going on with this?" and it just like dissolves in your hand. And you're like,
yes, I've literally had that happen. Oh my God.
I redid my brake system in my Z beginning of last year, and I was just like, with the hoses, like I was like, I thought I had already run through this, but I mean, like, all my hoses were garbage. Like, even the metal was like rusted out on that, and I was like, are you?
Oh no.
And so like it just dissolved, and I was like, this is awful. And getting those bolts off is a pain.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a gamble if you're gonna break it off, or it's gonna come out. But yeah.
One way or another.
I'll let you drive one if we buy it. Yeah. You can come visit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really interested to know who this person is, though.
I know. I'm wondering if it's someone who we actually know in the community, because it really is a tight-knit community. I mean, like, obviously we don't know everybody, and I personally am not super active in it as much anymore, just with my old age and racing motocross and stuff like that. Old age, we're the same age. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. We're young. We're still young, okay? We're going with that. But, but like, I'm wondering if we know you. Mind Design. Yeah, can we follow you? Do you have Japan Knows
social media? What's your name? I'm intrigued.
Yeah, do you have like an Instagram? We could give you a shout out and follow along with your builds. I'm definitely everyone who's like, I'm doing a Datsun build, I'm like, follow.
Yeah, follow. It's really cool to see the different ways that people, you know, take these builds too. Some people are totally fine with sorry, I'm reading comments. Totally fine with leaving them in, you know, almost a stock untouched form and just touching up paint and doing that kind of stuff. And there's other people that totally rip them apart. As I'm looking over at mine.
You're like, speaking of.
Don't be that person. No, just kidding.
Boston Short is in Florida. Oh, so you get to deal with those wet Datsuns, but okay. Sorry, I just did a little Facebook stalking. I had to know, because I'm always interested in Datsun people and what they're
and you know, like Mike was saying, it's definitely a family, so it's really easy to connect and talk with these people. So I'd be really interested to have a conversation, to be honest.
Yeah, I would too, especially, you know, I think everyone Datsuns, you know, and Jen and I kind of touched on this last episode because we're both Datsun people in Colorado specifically, but it's every Datsun looks like their person. Like when it's kind of like done or closer to stages of being done and stuff like that, like your Datsun represents you. Like the fact that you're doing a K-series swap. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
What? Sorry, that was really high pitched. But
I know it's been done already, but it's actually ironic because we were doing a motor swap for the boyfriend's uncle or whatever, and it was a K swap. So I was like, well, we're going to have this extra motor laying around. And I mean, the head needs to be gone through a little bit, but other than that, I have an S2K tranny that's going to go behind it, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Eventually, it's going to be turboed. You know, I really love the inline motor. I really do. I love the carbureted system. I think they're great. They sound amazing. But I mean, the car's totaled the way it is, and I'm going to make it my own. K series it is. Let's go fuel injected and have some fun, I guess. Let's go fast.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I know it's been done like once, but I really only know one other Datsun person who has a K series swap. A lot of LSs.
There are plenty of
Pers-
LSs.
That's a personal opinion on that. Sorry, I'm not an LS swap the world, but I know Jen builds a beautiful LS.
We're gonna talk about it because I'm not against LS by any means. They're reliable. They're plentiful. You can find anything you ever need for them if something goes wrong. I think they're great. But when I open the hood of my car, I don't want to see an LS.
Yeah,
I think it's overplayed, and it's just not something that excites me. You know, I think it's fun to be original, so why not try it? So I don't know, but
it's very original. It's extremely original. Like I said, I think the one person his K series wasn't even done, and it's just it's very. I personally am not an LS person, but like when you I don't know if you've talked with the Joe Dirt Hemi was what D-Pan just said, and another person just said LS swap the world. You guys get it. You guys know what's going on here. And Jenny has built a remarkable, oh my gosh, if you see her I think it's a 260 or 240Z, but it is stunning. And she did,
absolutely.
and the LS, how she did her LS swap, which by the way was before LS was even a big swapping for anything. She was ahead of the curve on that. It fits her personality so well, and I think a K series fits you really well, like that kind of cute little ricer a little bit, that drift missile.
Trying to integrate some of the drift world into a classic Japan car. It's
doable.
Not Japanese. Yeah. It's doable, and it's pushing limits, and I think it's just about having fun. You know, you got to be creative sometimes. And I mean, I know it's been done, so there is that behind the curve a little bit, but it's kind of cool watching not even just the Z cars transform with the K swaps and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, they're starting to go into everything because they're reliable as well. You know, Hondas don't blow up. For the most part, they don't blow up. You just got to, replace and maintain. That's what it is. So I think it might be the new LS swap.
No, I actually disagree, though. I don't think it's quite there yet. I think it's still pretty niche because, I mean, you think about a lot of people do the 2JZ or the RBs, they'll do those swaps because they're trying to keep it, within that same demographic. But I'm like, well, K-Series is still in the same demographic, but it's still very niche and very unique. I definitely think that fits you very well as far as personality and uniqueness goes. Because honestly, I know it's been done, but has it been done well? But I bet you could do it well.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll get back to you.
I can't wait to see it. We're gonna, you know what? I just want to get a bunch of our Datsuns all together and just race. Just
oh my god,
whatever, and have fun with
we
that.
Should have a get together with. I mean, anyone's welcome. Let's do this. Hopefully, cars are done by then. But yeah, we should set up an event. It would be super fun and just meet everyone and have a good time because the Z community is always a good time. It really is. And Mind Design, I just want to say thank you for all the comments and input. It's been great, and hopefully we can reconnect. So
yeah, definitely. I went ahead and I actually sent him a friend request because I was like, nope, that's in person.
Oh, you creep! No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I mean, that's in people.
I'm just kidding.
I'm a big creep, but we don't have to lie about that. We don't have to cover that up. I'm just like, I love watching people progress in it and make their Datsuns. And, he kind of said, their personalities reflecting through their Datsuns. I 100% agree. I'm definitely, my Datsun looks like me.
Now that you say that, yes. Yes, it does. And it's a beautiful car. It really is. You should talk more about it if you want, if we have the time.
Yeah. I mean, so this is my little, my little, I want to call it a box of something, but I can't. So that's, this is my
Flapjacks.
Datsun, my flapjack Datsun. I got it from a guy who actually was from Florida. He drove it up and he fell, Colorado is insanely expensive as well. And he was like, I got to get rid of this car. Like, I need to focus on some other things and getting my poop in a group. And I was like, yo, I'll buy it. He was like, I would only sell to a Z enthusiast. I was like, I got my other Datsun. Like, so at one point I had 2 Datsuns and it was the best thing in the whole wide world. It was my biggest flex.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But so, it's got the L2.8 ET swap in it. Unfortunately, right now I may or may not have blown through my turbo. And so I need to do my turbo rebuild. It still runs and drives. It's just got,
Is it smoky a little bit
right now. Yeah.
Oh no.
And I mean, yeah, it shoots flames and fun stuff like that. So it's running a little rich. I do have a tow hitch on the back of it. So I can, I was actually very known out here in Colorado for towing my dirt bike with it, because I would put my dirt bike on the trailer and just show up to the dirt bike track and stuff like that. I'll have to find pictures and stuff, and I know they're on my Instagram somewhere on there, which is just the same as my name.
Well, I'm gonna be the creep now, so
it's on there. I really wish I posted more car content, because I do work on it constantly. I am actively, tweaking things. I did have it. I wasn't working on it for about a year because I blew my wheel bearing. I was on the highway doing about 80 and my wheel bearing just demolished. So I lost my passenger front rear, or sorry, not front, and it was just
a
it was
disaster.
horrifying. Yeah, so I had to do like I had really looked in my suspension, really looked at the wheel bearings and rebuilding, getting the new, hubs and rotors, and just making sure that was all set, because that was frightening. That was absolutely horrific.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I may or may not have wet my pants a little bit on that one, but I didn't. It's not crashed. Nothing got damaged. That picture was taken actually after that had happened, and I got it back on the road. Because I had gone through like several wheel bearings and stuff like that, and it was just one of those. I cannot believe I survived that and did not do serious damage to that vehicle.
Yeah, and it looks like Mike even jumped in here and said, wow, wheel bearing can be major. One of the first things to look at when buying an S30. And yeah, I mean, that could be life-threatening, so it's fine.
Yep.
I'm glad you're fine.
I'm alive. I screamed a little bit.
Oh, man.
But yeah, and I think I'm going to keep it with the 2.8 ET swap. I really like it. I like the performance of it. And I'm planning on doing like a NIS tune on it and just really setting it so that way, personally, I can handle about 350 to 400 wheel to horsepower. Like, that's my comfort zone. And I was getting about like 325 to the wheels the last time I checked, before I blew my turbo up.
Those light chassis, though, even pushing 300 to 400 is enough. It's pretty crazy how fast they become rocket ships,
Yeah. Well, and mine's all stripped. Like, the inside is just gone. Like, it is very bare bones. I need to get a roll cage and like at least a half a cage in there just for safety if I, go to the track and stuff like that. But yeah, it still sends it. Out here we have Subarus. It's the land of the Boobaroos.
I feel you.
And I race them constantly. Well, I mean, I don't race them.
Nope, we don't do illegal.
We go down to Mexico, and we take care of business in Mexico.
Hey, Mike.
Make that clear.
No, I mean, you're racing on a video game, right?
Yeah, exactly. We set up our video game to be representative of our vehicles accurately.
Good one. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's 350 on these light chassis is just, it's insane. One of my buddies, he did an LS swap, and it's a very well done LS swap. And I'm not going to name him on here because I know he's trying to keep his build a little bit more private. He did it's a all-wheel drive Datsun on an LS swap, getting I would say probably 1,200 to the wheel.
What? You gotta private message me this person.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm
I
curious.
will. And it,
That sounds insane though. And it's been done how many times with Hondas? It was about time. It starts transitioning into other chassis. So
yeah, and I mean, it is just a rocket ship of a vehicle. I'm like,
oh my God. That's
he
cool.
put like a Holly in it and everything. And I'm like, I can't with you, dude. Like that is an LS I can respect because it is so unique to having an all-wheel drive Datsun.
Absolutely. God, can you imagine the mechanics behind that?
I've looked at it because it was actually stored at my place for a minute, and so like every day the Datsuns were side by side, and I was like, man, maybe if we like put a candle up, like maybe I could have some Z babies, like that's the goal ultimately here. It didn't happen. I was very disappointed. I think they're both
Oh,
incompatible, but
darn it.
I think it was the LS and the L2.8. I think that was exactly the mix up that came between those.
Polar
But
opposite.
yeah, exactly.
But they say opposites attract, so that's weird. But
I know.
do
I won't think much about it. That Z is out of my garage now. It's out in South Carolina, I think now.
Oh,
But
cool.
when it was in my garage, I would look at it every day, and I'm like, I just got to figure out how this dude put all-wheel drive on a
See,
Datsun.
and Mike had said it. It's probably a Trailblazer drivetrain or something.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't even thought about anything like that. Like, it's just crazy how people make these components work with different chassis and different motors. It really is. How do you think of that? It's pretty cool though. That's really cool. And I'm assuming it's going to be a drag car. Is it set up for
Yeah.
drag?
That's what his goal is to drag it and stuff like that. I think it has a half cage in it. And it's remarkable. I'm definitely gonna have to like let you guys know a little bit of the details on that. And I'm like, it's just cool because I'm like, to me, I would do all-wheel drive if I was gonna make a rally Datsun.
Yeah.
That was definitely my thought with my other stock Datsun. I was like, what, maybe I'll do an all-wheel drive, but I wanted to do like an RB25 swap, which really would not be convenient for rallying because of the ceramics and that. I would crack that like it's nothing.
Oh,
but yeah, I think that would be.
That's a cool idea. That's cool.
I think having a rally Z would be cool, but
I like that phrase. Guess it's all-wheel drive swap the world. I like that better.
I do too. We can go with that one. We'll say that from here on
That's
out.
a good one, Mike. That's a good one.
Exactly.
But I don't know how you're feeling. We can keep talking if you're willing to. Otherwise, we can wrap it up here. Seems like we have decent engagement though. So
I know I don't want to lose the engagement because I think, just because we're so engaged in that Datsun community, I could talk about Z's forever. My first tattoo, I have Datsun right on my thigh. Like,
I really wish I could pull my pants down right now and show you mine because I have one.
Do we have Datsun tattoos? Do we have matching Datsun tattoos?
I can't do this right now.
I know we can't do it. We'll do it later. I'll stalk you later. It's
yes. You'll have to show me yours. That's so cool.
Yeah, I was just like, these cars are what I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. I really want to do like a Datsun pickup. Really, I want to make a Datsun pickup, drift missile.
Oh my gosh, I wonder if I have photos. So the last event that I was drifting at, there was actually a Datsun drifting, and I was like a Datsun truck. I was like, dude,
what?
We're gonna find this because it is beautiful. I was so in awe with it, and it was really surprising actually how well it held up. It went out there and it did its job. It was amazing. So you should do it.
I'm gonna do it. Although I like a little bit of me like wants to put it on bags too, though. I don't know what I would do with a Datsun pickup. Honestly,
bags would be good. Yeah, I don't know. Drifting is so. It's one of those things, like, if you're going to go drifting and, I mean, like, personally, I'm not, like, huge into it. I mean, I am, but I'm still pretty brand new and still learning, like, the flicks and how to transition and all this other kind of stuff, like, perfecting it, I guess. And I think I would feel really bad if I took anything out of the Datsun realm and I destroyed it in that way. You know what I mean? So
I
I don't
mean,
know. It was.
I drift my Datsun.
Oh my god, I love it.
I'll have to get pictures at the next event because usually I'm like, just don't take pictures of me. I don't want to see my face. Like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So I do send the Z hard. I have not hit anything yet. Have not. Knocking on whatever wood's around me right now. But yeah, I'm also very cautious, and I'm just like, I just kind of go out. We have just a local track here that, I know the owner of the track from, because it's also a motocross track as well, so I know him from that. And I'm like, yo, like, you should let me take my Z out. And he's like, yeah, go for it. And then he's like, but I want to win condition. I want to drive it. Oh no.
I don't know how well you can see this, but
I need to buy it. I need that one.
it was so amazing, and I can't remember what motor it had. Oh my gosh, it's gonna drive me nuts. I thought I had a Coyote motor. Like, no lie. It was super strange to see, but you know what? He went out there and he did the job. It was amazing. And then it was almost funny because he started showing up locally everywhere. Like, event after event, I started seeing that truck and I'm like, wow, you came out of the woodwork, but I love it more. I need more, I love seeing that kind of stuff. But
I just
please
like the
keep
cherry blossoms that, like, that kind of anime. I have a banner on my Z. I have like the black windshield banner, and I just ordered a phrase for it, and it's just senpai.
Oh, I love it.
So that's gonna be on the front. That's gonna be on my windshield. So.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that you do that. I actually do have a buddy that is drifting 240Z, but I mean, he's got the power for it and he's definitely got the experience. So like, we'll leave that realm to him locally anyways. So I love seeing it though. It's pretty crazy to see, because I feel like a lot of these cars are pretty front long. They're super long in the front. So to see those go out there and actually execute it pretty well, it's kind of cool to see. It's like, wow, I'm gravity. It's just, like it doesn't make sense, but it's cool to see. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you do that.
It's scary. I'm a little bit of me is just I've slowed down a little bit just because I'm like, transitioning, careers and stuff like that. So I want to make sure like I have financial set. If I do really send it into a wall, I can at least fix it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would be heartbroken if like just the body, I can redo a chassis and the drivetrain and all of that. Like that's no problem for me. But I don't do body work. I don't fuck with it.
No.
I don't flapjack with it.
I apparently have a low battery, so I might actually have to sign off here. Shoot.
No worries. That's totally fine. It's been really awesome talking with you. I don't think we've had a chance to interact other than like through the group, so it's really cool. I didn't know you were in it. Like I knew after the group that you were into these, but
no, it's really nice putting like a name and face together and actually interacting because I feel like me and you would be best friends. This is cool.
Yes,
I love it.
Out to Colorado. It's not that cool out here.
You know what? I visited for my golden birthday a couple years ago and I fell in love. It is so beautiful there. I'm jealous. Minnesota has nothing. So
Oof. I feel
maybe I'll make my way there and we'll be best friends. Who knows?
I'm just saying. I got a 3-bed. I'll move the bikes. The bikes can go into my shed. I don't care. We got space for your Z.
Tempted. I'm tempted. Well, thank you so much for your hospitality, and I look forward to doing this again. This has been really fun, you guys, and we had really good engagement, and it was a really nice conversation with Mike. And again, if you're not a part of S30 Life on Facebook, it's a great group, very interactive. There's a lot of information on there for anyone. And yeah, so that's all I have to say.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you guys all for watching and all of this. Our stuff is recorded, so if you know anybody who'd be interested in our chat that we had today, let them know. Again, our sponsors are going to be Donuts and Wheels Society, Griprat, and Simtech Motorsports. We couldn't be doing this without them, so appreciate all of that. Let us know if you guys have any questions. My Instagram is Musiq Chiq. Trissa, what's your Instagram again?
Oh, sorry. My Instagram is Trissa_240Z. I also have a build page, but it hasn't been updated. So that's at FrankenZ240.
I
But
like that.
yeah.
Well, and of course the GT Girls Garage, you know, that's GT_girls with a Z. You know, like Z cars. Underscore garage. Feel free to give us a shout, ask us any questions or anything like that. We'd be more than happy to discuss that. Again, thank you to JPAN and DPAN. They're wonderful for bringing us together. Isaiah has been an awesome citizen.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again so much. You guys have a lovely day. Let us know if you have any questions, but we're off.
See you later. It was fun talking.
I'm talking to you too.
Bye.